My thoughts are unorthodox a lot, and I do not have the most popular opinion, as I've learned over the years.
Beyonce hit by copycat claims by Erykah Badu over the Cowboy Carter cover, igniting a storm of controversy.
For Erykah wasn't done with a tweet to Jay-Z. To Jay-Z, say something, Jay. You gonna let this woman and these bees do this to me?
So, it seems like Beyonce has finally weighed in on Erykah Badu's accusations of stealing, and she seems to have enlisted her whole team to handle the situation by throwing shade at the legendary Erykah. It all kicked off after Erykah seemingly hinted that Beyonce copied her hairstyle for the cover art of her upcoming country album. And as soon as Beyonce's fans caught wind of it, they wasted no time in dragging Erykah online, labeling her as jealous and irrelevant. And even Beyonce's publicist chimed in on the drama and dismissed Erkyah's accusations. But this prompted Erykah to call out none other than Jay-Z, hinting that the Beyhive is a well-oiled machine, acting under the Carter's instructions. However, this clash between Erykah and Beyonce has sparked a much bigger conversation, with people now digging up evidence about Beyonce allegedly stealing from many other artists, taking credit for things she didn't actually create, and even supposedly sabotaging and blackballing female artists she saw as direct competition. But what exactly did Beyonce respond to Erykah Badu accusing her of stealing, and who are these artists Queen Bee allegedly sabotaged on her way to the top? Let's dive into all the details.
She just didn't know a lot of things, and was influenced easily, by other people's feelings and thoughts. So I had to be really careful, like I just said.
For the longest time, any criticism of Beyonce was treated as pure jealousy, and people who had anything remotely negative to say about the way she does business were labeled as haters. However, it looks like the tide is now shifting. Beyonce and Jay-Z have been under a lot of scrutiny lately, with many people saying they can no longer listen to their music after learning about all the shady stuff this power couple allegedly did to get to the top. Now, Beyonce likes to present herself as this beacon of empowerment for women. However, some argue that her brand of feminism is a bit surface level, all about the image rather than genuine substance. Take her album Lemonade, for instance. Critics were raving about it, and it was breaking records left and right. But then there were these voices, especially from within academic feminist circles, who claimed Beyonce's version of feminism was just a marketing strategy. Even someone like the iconic Bell Hooks had some choice words about it, and she called Lemonade capitalist money-making at its best. Hooks criticized Lemonade for not doing much to change conventional sexist constructions of Black female identity, and called Beyonce's version of feminism fantasy feminism. In the world of fantasy feminism, Hooks wrote, there are no class, sex, and race hierarchies that break down simplified categories of women and men, no call to challenge and change systems of domination, no emphasis on intersectionality. According to Hooks, Beyonce wants her fans to believe that Black women can gain freedom by being more like men, which Hooks claims is a false construction of power because so many men, especially Black men, do not possess actual power. Beyonce faced even more backlash when it was revealed that her clothing line, Ivy Park, was manufactured by female workers in Sri Lanka under questionable labor conditions. In May 2016, The Sun released a report revealing that the workers were paid a wage equivalent to just around $6 a day. So when you contrast that with the high prices of Ivy Park products, people were understandably outraged. One of the female workers told The Sun, when they talk about women and empowerment, this is just for the foreigners. They want the foreigners to think everything is okay. To be fair, Beyonce is not the one who decides how much workers in Sri Lanka are paid. However, she could have simply decided not to create another fast fashion brand, but the scrutiny didn't end there. Fast forward to 2021, and Beyonce landed in yet another controversy when she and Jay-Z starred in the ad campaign for Tiffany, with Beyonce wearing what is believed to be a blood diamond. The huge yellow stone was found in a South African mine in 1877 and is suspected to have been mined through slave labor. This prompted fans to draw comparisons between Beyonce's Tiffany's ad and her Black is King album, saying, it's the fact that Beyonce did a whole album and went Mama Africa, then went to wear a blood diamond. I love Beyonce, but it's very contradictory. But this diamond drama wasn't the only stealing controversy Beyonce has been involved in. Throughout her career, she's faced accusations of stealing songs and biting style from other artists, and allegedly even blackballing those she saw as competition. Let's start with the one and only Erykah. Erykah was a triple threat in singing, dancing, and acting. And even if she wasn't vocally the best in the game, she simply had that X factor and didn't need all those gimmicks or marketing strategies to shine. Oh, and she also had this magnetic presence that unfortunately attracted attracted the attention of much older industry men, and one of them was Jay-Z. Before Jay-Z decided on Beyoncé to fulfill his power couple dreams, he had his eyes on Erykah. Erykah's ex, Dame Dash, reveals that Jay was obsessed with Erykah and went to great lengths to try and win her over. However, Erykah rejected Jay-Z because she fell in love with Dame. Plus, Erykah knew Jay was one of R. Kelly's close friends, so of course she didn't want to mess with Jay after what Kelly did to her. According to Dame, Jay was fully aware of Kelly's crimes, and he still continued to work with him, releasing a joint album, Best of Both Worlds, the same year Erykah tragically lost her life.
But it just was so much hurt for her to revisit it. It was like, I wouldn't even want to revisit it without a professional. Whatever got done was terrible. Yes. So to be honest, like, if you remember the Best of Both Worlds, you don't see my name on that. You know what I mean? And
your name is not on either album.
Hell no, I never wanted no parts of that. So when Holmes was doing that, I was like, bro, you know our homie, and he my girl. And because of the moral challenge and him choosing one way, I knew morally we weren't the same.
So once Erykah rejected him, Jay-Z had to pivot and set his sights on the next rising female star. Enter Beyoncé. That fateful year 2001, when Jay and Beyoncé went public with their romance, Erykah was at the peak of her career. She had already scooped up 2 Grammy nominations and was working on her 3rd album. She had also made waves in Hollywood with films like Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned, and had several other projects lined up.
I love music with my heart, and I love acting as well. There's some similarities, but yet there are a lot of differences as well, and I like doing both. And with acting, I get to explore a different side of myself. It can be very cathartic in a lot of ways, and same with music. So I don't want to abandon one for the other. I want to try to do both as long as I can.
But then, tragedy struck. On August 25th, 2001, Aaliyah's life was tragically cut short at the age of 22 in a plane crash in the Bahamas. And as you probably know, her death has sparked a lot of controversy, especially after an eyewitness revealed that Erykah was given a sedative and carried on the plane unconscious. Anyway, just months after Aaliyah's death, Jay-Z started working on his 7th studio album, The Blueprint 2, and recorded his first ever collab with Beyoncé, 03 Bonnie and Clyde. Jay later told Rolling Stone about this collab, "What I gave her was street credibility, a different edge." And Beyoncé knew she needed that different edge to stand out from other female artists who were equally talented. Which brings us to A-Marie. In the early 2000s, A-Marie's career was on fire, especially after the success of One Thing and her second album, Touch. She received 2 Grammy nominations, and One Thing got the remix treatment from big-name rappers, including Jay-Z. But here's where things start to get shady. A-Marie's rise to fame coincided with Beyoncé's early struggles to establish herself as a solo artist. Now, it might be hard to picture Beyoncé having a tough time in her career, but it wasn't as easy as it seems, and she needed that one hit to really launch her into solo stardom. And that hit turned out to be Crazy in Love. But here's the kicker. Fans quickly noticed that both the song and the music video for Crazy in Love had striking similarities to One Thing. And it kind of makes sense because both songs were co-written and produced by Rich Harrison. However, according to some industry insiders, Beyoncé allegedly wasn't too happy when Jay did a remix of One Thing, and rumor has it that she convinced him to steal Rich Harrison from A-Marie. Jaguar Wright claimed that after Aaliyah's passing, there was essentially an opening for the next R&B princess, and Beyoncé was determined to claim that spot.
By the way, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Jam on your horn now, that record. From the Austin Powers was some of the worst ever. They were having a hard time taking her solo. And then Aaliyah died.
And according to Jaguar, Jay-Z basically swiped Rich Harrison from A-Marie because Beyoncé saw her as a threat.
And then they brought Rich Harrison in, and you know, got me thinking so crazy right now. She liked posing with him in pictures for Page 6. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dame. And Aaliyah's gone, you know. You have to start asking yourself questions after being in this business for this long. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some motherfuckers keep getting?
Right.
Is it really a conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over and over again?
Now, A-Marie has never come out and pointed fingers at Beyoncé for copying her, and she's always kept it classy whenever she's been asked to address the situation.
Beyoncé stole your walk? My walk.
Remember the Crazy in Love video when she was walking and the way he was walking in Why Don't We Fall in Love?
No, her walk is more of a runway walk, and my walk was more of a what a nice day kind of walk. It was a different kind of vibe. I can do the other walk too, you know. It's funny because I know that I disappear and people are like, "Oh, what happened?" But it's because I don't like really chase after fame. Like that's not like my favorite thing is like, I don't even really love red carpets.
However, this was rumored to be one of the main reasons Amerie left the industry. She apparently realized that the only way to make it is by ruthlessly stepping on others, something that Beyonce allegedly had no issue doing. In fact, according to Uncle Ron, who claimed he worked as Beyonce's bodyguard, Beyonce and Jay-Z have always been so fixated on being at the top that they'd crush anyone who stands in their way. Uncle Ron directly accused the Carters of wrecking multiple careers, including that of the talented singer-songwriter Carrie Hilson.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are. How you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you.
So Carrie got tangled up in a very public drama with Beyonce, and it all kicked off when reports surfaced that she recorded a diss track supposedly aimed at Beyonce. This ignited massive backlash against Carrie, and Beyonce's fans just wouldn't let up. In fact, this dragged on for years, and Carrie even claimed that Beyonce's fans were throwing CDs at her on the street. The hate eventually got so bad that Carrie had to publicly beg the Beyhive to leave her alone. She wrote, "You have no idea what your hateful words could do to someone's spirit. Years of verbal abuse from strangers all day long. Enough is enough." However, during this time, reports started circulating that Beyonce may have orchestrated the whole ordeal. Multiple sources alleged that Carrie was tricked into recording that track, ultimately leading her to sabotage her own career while Beyonce emerged as the victim. Finally, in 2020, Carrie admitted that she was indeed pressured into releasing the track, and she also revealed that she had been receiving serious threats because of it.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this.
And while Amerie and Carrie Hilson didn't want to directly call out Beyonce, Kellis stood on business and publicly slammed her for acting like she's above others. It all started after Beyonce sampled Kellis's hit Milkshake on Renaissance, and Kellis took to IG to call out Beyonce over her arrogant attitude. Kellis claimed Beyonce didn't even bother to tell her she would sample her song, and when she found out about it through social media, Kellis said her mind was blown because the level of disrespect and ignorance was astounding. "I heard about this the same way everyone else did," Kellis wrote. "Nothing is ever as it seems. Some of the people in this business have no soul or integrity, and they have everyone fooled." And then when one fan commented that Beyonce and Kellis is a collab the world needs, Kellis clapped back, "It's not a collab, it's theft." Kellis later explained further why she felt disrespected and said, "Not only are we Black female artists in an industry where there's not that many of us, we've met each other, we know each other, we have mutual friends. It's not that hard to contact me. It's just common decency." However, instead of owning up to it, Beyonce just quietly removed the keyless sample from her album and didn't even bother to acknowledge the accusations of theft. But the accusations didn't stop there, and the latest to publicly call out Beyonce for stealing was Grammy Award-winning songwriter Tiffany Red. It all started back in February when Jay-Z shaded the Grammys for snubbing Beyonce in the Best Album category. That's when Tiffany chimed in to suggest that Beyonce might not be as deserving of all those awards because, allegedly, she's been taking credit for songs she didn't write and essentially robbing real writers of their livelihood. Tiffany posted a clip of Jay's speech and wrote, "Maybe Beyonce will win the Grammy for Album of the Year when she starts paying songwriters and stops taking publishing from them. I hear it's around 15% to 30%. By the way, Grammys don't pay the bills." Tiffany also shared a screenshot of a text exchange with an unnamed songwriter who claimed Beyoncé and Usher demand between 25 and 30% of publishing rights on songs they didn't write. Commenting on this, Tiffany wrote, "Neither of y'all do these projects alone. There's so many creatives involved and you both are massive artists. Why are you taking the only thing the writers make any money off of? Why are the teams behind you facilitating this? It's wrong. Most people are terrified to say either of your names, and that's heartbreaking. People should not be afraid to stand up for themselves out of fear of being canceled by y'all. That's a of power. It's wrong, and I can't stand by and watch any longer." But Tiffany didn't leave it at that. She later went live to spill all the juicy details about why she walked away from the music industry and to shine a light on Beyoncé for supposedly stealing publishing rights. Tiffany explained that Beyoncé could be the one to shake up the whole industry and change the way things work. However, she might not be up for that because, as Tiffany claims, she's too busy stealing from songwriters herself.
The reason why I called out Beyonce is because Beyonce is the Michael Jackson of our generation. And so if there's anybody that could reshape the precedent, if there's anybody that could influence the industry, that had the power and the money and the cultural thing to say, you know what, y'all, you're right. These songwriters have been out here. We've been in the street. Literally, I have been in the street.
Tiffany then shared that a manager for a songwriter who worked on Renaissance told her that one of the album's major tracks had been written 6 years before Beyoncé claimed it. And get this, even though Beyoncé had zero involvement in the writing, Tiffany alleges she still took 25% of the publishing rights.
I talked to somebody yesterday, somebody's a manager of somebody who is a writer and producer on Renaissance, okay? The record is one of y'all faves. The song was written 6 years before it got to Beyonce. She got 25% of the song.
Tiffany also revealed that a different songwriter who wrote and sang back vocals for another one of Beyoncé's recent hits allegedly still hasn't received the paycheck or credit for their contribution. Now, you might be wondering why these songwriters haven't spoken out about it. Well, Tiffany claimed it's because Beyoncé keeps them quiet with NDAs.
I've talked to another writer who wrote and sang on one of your favorite songs. Credit not right, all kind of shit up. His business still isn't handled. Beyonce was on tour last year with that record, with that person's vocals, all that. I'm not crazy. And here's the thing. The reason why people who work for Beyonce don't talk is because they're all on NDAs. Because that's also how she works. She silences people so that nobody can speak.
Tiffany then urged all songwriters, especially those who've worked with Beyoncé, to speak up, saying that as long as Beyoncé is seen as untouchable, she'll keep on with the same behavior.
I remember talking to one of the writers and talking to them about how much of the publishing she was taking. And this writer was like, look, Tip, I don't want no smoke with me. I just let her take the publishing. That's bull. So if you're Black, you're usually put in R&B and hip hop with artists that are Black, creatives that are Black, executives that are Black. And you know what your people do to you? The same thing that white people do to you. And we pedestal them like goals. That is not goals. Capitalism is not goals. That shit is not cute.
But yet again, Beyoncé and her team stayed silent and brushed off the whole controversy. However, Beyoncé didn't stay silent when it came to Miss Erykah Badu. It seems like Erykah struck a nerve when she recently accused Beyoncé of ripping off her style, because now Beyoncé's crew is going all out, trying to throw shade at the legend herself. So it all started on March 20th when Erykah took to her IG stories to post a photo of Beyoncé's cover art for her upcoming album Cowboy Carter. Erykah only wrote, in the caption, seemingly alluding that something on this cover looked familiar. The cover art shows Beyoncé sporting just a sash with her mother's maiden name while flaunting a beaded braids hairstyle. And it wasn't hard to figure out what rubbed Erkyah the wrong way because the beaded braids are one of her signature looks. Of course, the Beyhive took Badu's cryptic comment as a dig, and they wasted no time in retaliating. They immediately jumped to shade Erykah, calling her irrelevant, bitter, washed up, you name it. The Beyhive just wouldn't leave Erkyah alone, so she decided to address Jay-Z and jokingly wrote, "To Jay-Z, say something, Jay. You gon' let this woman and these bees do this to me?" But it looks like Erykah really touched a nerve because Beyonce got her publicist to throw shade at her on IG. Beyonce's publicist, Yvette Noel Schur, posted this video compilation of Beyonce using braided hairstyles throughout the years and wrote, she slays, now, then, always. Act 2, Cowboy Carter, # critics without credentials. However, a lot of people are now saying this isn't just about Beyonce wearing braids. It's more about her acting like she's above others and taking credit for things other people created. One fan said, while she may have a musical taste, she doesn't have a creative bone in her body, doesn't write her own lyrics, doesn't come up with the dances. She clearly always has relied heavily on a team for her success. Those that look up to her only see her for all the things that her team is actually responsible for. And another person wrote, Erykah Badu is correct. Beyonce copies off of other artists. Marie Rogers, Go-Go Sound reintroduced, K. Michelle, putting out a country album, Lil Kim, The Beyhive, Erykah Badu, hats and hairstyles, etc. But what's your take on Erykah Badu's comment and all these other accusations of stealing against Beyonce? Share your thoughts in the comments below and be sure to check out this next video.